So can you tell me a little bit about yourself, Janine?
Sure. I grew up actually on the West Coast. I grew up in California, but traveled out this way to go to dental school. So I went to the University of Pennsylvania on the East Coast and went to dental school there for 4 years. And before I started, I was trying to figure out how I was going to pay for the school, which is very pricey these days. And so I had family in the military. My husband was a Marine. My father was in the Air Force. And they suggested, why don't I look into the military? So they had a wonderful scholarship program that I went ahead and applied for. And was accepted. And then I did my 4 years of dental school with the notation that I would go back as an officer, a dental officer in the Navy for 4 years. So I did that. So as soon as I graduated, I went into the Navy and first started off in 2001 in September, which, as we all know, kind of changed everything in America. And so I was going to consider going back to orthodontics, but that sort of changed my plans, obviously. So I went to Iraq with the Marines in 2001, served as a general dentist and a little bit of triage officer there as well. And then came back and did another tour on a ship as a dentist and went back over to the Gulf again for a second time in 2004. And then finally I was an opportunity to either leave the service or stay in, and so I decided to investigate orthodontics again at that point. And so I went ahead and applied for orthodontic residency training and fortunately was accepted by the Navy. And so I did my training through the Navy in Texas, San Antonio, and then went off to Japan for 3 years and did orthodontics there, treating all the children of the service members there. So, so I just finished that commitment to the Navy after 9 years. We have 2 young kids, so I decided that we needed to settle down and have a center for them, an area, a community for them to grow up in. And so we settled out here, and now I am working for Arch.
Oh, great. So why did you want to become an orthodontist?
Well, I had my own experiences, I guess you could say.
Yes, you have perfect teeth. You have perfect teeth.
Well, I didn't to begin with. I was 10. I have 2 other sisters. I have an older sister and a younger sister. And my older sister went through braces. And of course, as a kid, you don't know what an orthodontist is, really, until you experience it yourself. And a lot of adults, it's very common to not know what an orthodontist is unless you experience it yourself or you have children that have braces. But I clearly needed them. I had a lot of crowding and a lot of an overbite. So when I was 10, my parents took me in and I started a headgear and I started, I had teeth taken out, I had the whole shebang. And that kind of set me on the path because it's kind of amazing how big of a transformation you can have in your life by having, such a
perfect smile.
Yeah, but it's true. And, and I really, to this day, I'm so thankful that my parents took me in. And after I had that and I went back to college and I was trying to focus on what I really wanted to do with my life, I went back to my orthodontist and I asked what was involved in becoming an orthodontist because I had no idea. And he kind of set me in the right path and told me that, you go to dental school for 4 years and if you do very, very well, you can go back to residency and then you have an additional training for 2 or 3 years. And at that point, then you can take your boards to become board certified. So it's a long process, but I'm so thankful to be in this field.
And I'm sure a lot of children are thankful also.
Yeah, well, I hope so. And it's a great, wonderful profession. And so I always encourage, patients that are, young and not sure what they want to do to explore dentistry and explore orthodontics because it's sometimes something that they don't consider.
Oh, definitely. So why don't we start about talking about children and the dentist? When is the right time to take the child for the very first time to see a dentist?
To a general dentist? So usually in order to help get them used to being in the dental chair, we recommend 6 months after the first tooth erupts. So maybe on average that's about 1 year of age. If the first baby tooth might erupt into the mouth at about 6 months. And mainly all that visit is, actually I have 2 young kids of my own that, we went in and they just sit you down in your chair. A lot of times you're in the mom's lap or the dad's lap, whoever's there. And the dentist or pediatric dentist just basically gets them used to laying back, opening their mouth, getting a mirror in there just to search around and see what's in there. And then they might, brush them for them with a toothbrush, maybe a little, the little Profi rubber cups just to get them used to that experience. So really, it starts very early, but that actually promotes, lifelong comfort with the dentist, which obviously is tough for a lot of people. But I think that is the most important thing, is get them in early, get them used to it, get regular cleanings and checkups so that you can avoid the big cavities, the big.
How often